3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin the Racing, episode 40.
I like it how we giggle like we've just looked at a pair of boobies. It's like, woo, podcast. So anyway, yeah, opposite me is Chrissy Rouse. Just in case you're new to this show, where the hell you been? Thank God you've crawled out from underneath that rock and discovered the sheer talent that is a maths teacher. So how are you, son?
Opposite me is the everyone's favourite tree surgeon / TT racer.
No, hold on. I'm not a tree surgeon. Anyone could be a tree surgeon. You know what I mean? You can go buy yourself a nice white Transit, a nice big trailer, and become a tree surgeon.
What's the official title?
Tit. And everyone likes those.
On our website, is it aerial forester?
It is.
Did you just invent that, or is that
is
totally it official?
It makes it sound like fly a helicopter, but I don't. It's a case of tree surgeons. Very precise and accurate. Me, on the other hand, I'm there. The people pay me to get jobs done, so I pretty much get halfway up it and gone, aye, that'll fit, and fell it in one. So there we go. So what you been up to? Hold on, I'm jumping the gun. It's typical me. Let's introduce our sponsor for the pod, mate. And same as last week. Well, hold on, what episode are we on here?
40.
Number 40, so episode 39. Obviously, same episode sponsor. Chrissy, if I woke up, I'd be a dangerous man, I'm telling you. So for episode number 40 here is the Carol Nash MCN London Motorcycle Show.
And that's where we're going to be this time next... No, not this time next... Well, you're going to be there this time next week. I'm coming down on the Saturday.
Well, I'm going on the Thursday morning, so we've got rehearsal.
Oh, right.
Like rehearsal for the Thunderdrome. So it's me, Peter Hickman, John McGuinness, Rutter, Craig Neve, Jamie Coward. That's terrible. There's a couple more in there anyway, but I think it's more of a TT themed. It's more specifically a classic TT themed because TT are like announcing their like relaunch, and John McGuinness has got a bar down there, so you're gonna like he's actually running a bar.
At the show?
At the show.
Bloody
so
hell,
obviously he's doing
cool.
racing, then obviously you can go get a pint with the pint himself.
Oh, mint.
So, but you don't need to. Just listen to our episode with him and then you know everything about him. But anyway, back to this sponsorship thing. So, obviously the show is going from the 14th, 15th and 16th of February at the XL London. Discounted tickets are now on sale for just £18. The offer ends at midnight on the 12th of Feb. Tickets cost £23. £23 after the 12th. There is an option to buy a Paddock Pass, which guarantees a seat given a great view for the Michelin Thunderdrome race in action, which obviously we've just discussed there who's competing in that. The Paddock Pass also gives visitors the chance to meet all the celebrity riders racing in the Thunderdrome, including yourself. I know, I keep reading, actually, I've sent this to you, isn't it? It actually says me, it's a bit weird that. So, as you know, John McGuinness is back, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I've just mentioned all their names, but seriously, it's a great show. Obviously, Chrissy Rouse at BSB tit, he's coming down as well. Well, hold on, so who's going down with you then? Are you just going...
Just going down on me, Jack Jones. I am going to head down. I'll either come down Friday night or first thing Saturday morning. We've got some leathers to pick up from RST, both myself and you. So I'll call in and get them on the way down. And then just coming. I'm not working there. I'm just coming for the crack.
So how was that? Massing.
I'm not sure if my team's...
hold on. Let's quickly finish off the sponsorship. So yeah, get yourself on mcnmotorcycleshow.com. Obviously, get your tickets and blah blah. Get yourself down, and we'll continue this conversation with you. So when you come and see us, but anyway, so you're not there on any
duties? No. I've just come there to watch you win the Thunderdrome.
Oh man, honestly, well, hold on. Well, let me give you a brief update what I've been up to over the weekend. I know what night is it? Thursday. It's a Thursday night at the moment, but the weekend gone. Went down to Peter Boast's flat track champion school.
Oh, yeah. Next to the Neveses.
Obviously the Neve twins, right? Who I've never met before till I went down. Honestly, had no idea who this bloke was. So we're in there, obviously doing the flat track, and this bloke walks up to us. This bloke walks straight up to us. I thought he was going to hump me leg. His eyes were lit up, and he's just running at us. He goes, "Hello, Tom." I'm going, "Oh shit, do I owe you money or something?" And obviously we got a bit of cracking on. But what a lovely, lovely lad he is, mind.
Who's that?
I've only met... No, that's terrible. I've met one of them anyway.
Who are you talking
Neves? Neves, sorry, miles away.
Tim and Tom.
Tim and Tom. I don't know which one I met. Anyway, but they both have Neve written on the back. So which one's doing which then?
So Tim,
are they both in?
Tim was my teammate, and I think I'm not sure what he's doing. He's
And that's
racing in
one I've met.
Superstock. Yeah, I think he's racing a Suzuki in Superstock next year. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. His brother's rides for Honda, and he's continuing. So he's riding the new Honda in
stock.
Superstock. Yeah.
All right, so they're both your competitors for the.
Yes.
Oh, spot on.
Both cracking lads. We'll get them on the podcast sometime soon. I think.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get you down there, mate. Honestly,
I would love to have a go on that the flat tracking thing. I've done a little bit of speedway before, but never been to a flat track.
Neve went through. I'm telling you, Neve went through me like a cheap tramp. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, absolute cheap tart. I'm telling you.
Them, they were like the best lads in the country at flat track. They were winning everything by a mile, and they used to have a race over in Barcelona called the Super Leger, I think.
It used to be on Eurosport.
Yes,
and Marquez does it.
Goes, yeah,
Guy Martin's done it.
That's it. It's in a big stadium.
It looks mint. That
Tim outqualified Mark Marquez when he was in MotoGP at this flat track thing.
Shut up, man.
No, they're unbelievable on the flat track bikes.
He frequently.
Tom started doing road racing, and then Tim started a year after him. So he's kind of he's always like sort of a year behind, if you know what I mean. But he's catching.
They're identical
up.
twins, are they?
Yes, and towards the end of last year, Tim finished the season extremely strong. He crashed out of the last race, but I think he was in about 4th or 5th at the time, and he was just building more and more. It was his first full year on the 1,000. He was building more and more confidence.
Honda Tom.
Tim.
So.
Tim. Tom had a good solid season all year, but he had a big crash at Donington Park, another race that I won that always gets mentioned.
Mate,
I always manage to squeeze it into the podcast.
Hey, mate, when you've got your own podcast, you can do these things.
Going down first lap, going down Craner Curves, and it was really tricky conditions. It had been wet, so there was a thin, dry line, and Tom, I think, tried to pass somebody, and he just touched a wet, and it just spat him off, broke his ankle, and so over the off season he was getting his ankle repaired, and then he went in for a shoulder surgery, the same as me. So he had a time when he couldn't
same injuries as you, like, so was it constantly dislocating kind of thing?
Yeah, had some sort of issue. I think he had his plated and the plate bent, I think, but like similar sort of issues. And so there was a time where he couldn't. Obviously, he had crutches for his ankle, but he also had his shoulder done, so he literally couldn't do anything for like a week or so. So I think he's had quite a tough off season, but he's gone through the same thing as me with the physio and everything, and getting back to riding bikes and whatever.
What does he do for a job? Because apparently you're a teacher.
The farmers, the
3-day teacher. Is anyone listening to this really like you're a 3-day? I don't even understand how you're a 3-day teacher. But anyway, continue.
Why is that?
I can't remember. I've never met a 3-day teacher in my damn life.
Oh, there's part-time. There's part-time teachers.
I remember that maths teacher. She was a bit of a bitch. I remember seeing her every day. I was like, oh, good.
What, your teacher?
Oh, God, she stank as well.
Uh-huh. What were you like at maths at school, by the way?
What do you think?
I don't know, you're bright lad.
Oh, why am I at the wrong podcast tonight or something like that? No,
How did you do?
C's. Well, the mad thing is, right, it's like everything, like, what annoys me, well, I'm going off on a tangent here, what annoys me about schools, right, is, well, the whole country is based on one set of learning skills. Mm-hmm. So someone in London is made up a curricular activity and just gone, right, here, this is what we're going to base everyone's intelligence over. Mm-hmm. It's a load of crap. Obviously, you've got different types of learning. People read and absorb differently. You've got kinesthetic hands-on learning. And for me, that method didn't work, and I tried me damned hardest. I actually left school at 16, the most qualified in my year, but not in highest grades. I actually got 14.5 GCSEs. I used to stay after school and do extra classes and that.
Right.
Like extra keys, everything. I chucked myself at everything just to try and get
within
something.
them qualifications. Are you counting backflipping a BMX?
Oh no, that got me the ladies. Oh yeah. No, but honestly, I did absolutely everything. Engineering, which was like a double, and then geography. I did like French. I'm crap at French. I'm unless in the bedroom. Ooh fucking la. I'm all about that. But no, I tried my damned hardest, but no, school just it wasn't. Like I say, like if school's your thing, that's mint. But for me, it wasn't. But I did try my best, and I try my best at everything. I'm just, unfortunately, it just didn't agree with me, Chrissy. But obviously, school worked for you. You want? Why did it? At what point did you think right, I'm a BSB rock star. I'm going to become a teacher. How did that transit? Like, was it always in your mind to do that?
Good question.
Obviously, you like school.
It was all right school. I went. I was really lucky. I went to a really good school.
Yeah.
It was you didn't have to pay to go. It was a free school, but it is a top school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I was very sort of middle of the pack really at school. Kind of like in the first, like every year you got graded out of the 200 kids in the year, and I was always around the sort of 100, 110, 120th kid for grades.
Is that why you ride so brilliantly? Like, I'm no more mid-class here. I'm going to the top, baby.
And then just every year I went up a little bit, but even at the end of the year, like year 11, I think I was about like 50th or something. So I wasn't like, I didn't find everything dead easy. I'm not very good at I wasn't very good at English and French, and everything else I was quite average at. But when it came to my exams, I just thought, well, need to knuckle down, and left it quite last minute, maybe like a week or so before my GCSEs, and then I just locked myself away in my bedroom and just absolutely annihilated. Just sat with
what you say here.
Sat with the textbook and just went through the whole wrote notes on every textbook. So I literally just I used to just stay up all night and just write everything out, and then just learn it parrot style fashion. I made stupid songs up to remember stupid things.
Fair play, man.
With maths, I used to just hammer maths papers. So before the exams, I would by the time I did my GCSEs, I'd probably done about 40 maths papers and then marked them myself. So you sort of see what they're all like, and then just obviously by the time the exams came, found
you literally
pissed it.
Fair play, mate. You know what I mean? So that is hellish. Because a lot of people just can't.
Mate, obviously as a maths teacher as well, I hear it all the time. People saying, I don't have a maths brain. I can't. One of my friends in particular, I won't name her, but one of my friends didn't have a maths brain at all, if you can say that. It didn't come easy, but she just put the hard work in, practice, and she absolutely smashed her GCSEs, and then went on A levels and did really well at A levels as well. And that's it. You don't have to find it easy, but it's
if you want it. There's living proof. If you want it, you can go get it.
Oh, aye.
That is bloody impressive. So you just went. See, the thing is, right? You get a lot of people in this sport, right? Now, obviously, I keep harping on about it, and I'm a forester. I wanted to get on a chainsaw. Mm-hmm. It's something I actually enjoy doing. I'd rather be honestly, the dream for me is the same dream as you, and I think that's where this all started from. I want to be professional.
Chasing the racing.
Chasing the race. Well, it is, so isn't it? That's where the terms come from. We're chasing the racing. I went self-employed to take more time off work to go racing, and people think. I just no, it's called work. I don't call it fun. It's hard graft, but I know what I want to do, and I'm lucky that I've got a job doing that. But, you haven't pissed away your intelligence. That's the way I look at it. You've actually got a skill set, and obviously the country's massive. We're turning into BBC 4 here. Yeah, the country's massively down on teachers. But, you haven't, have you? You're a bloody teacher, for God's sake. So, fair, that... That's incredible because, obviously, let's use Craig Neve and Jamie Coward, for example, road racers there. Craig's an electrician, and then Jamie Coward's a ground worker. You know what I mean? My mate Mike Norbury there, he's a bike mechanic. You can kind of see that working class thing. But you've got to be the only teacher on that grid.
Oh, so I don't.
You've got to be, haven't you?
I don't know about the rest of BSB. I don't know if there's maybe. I'm not sure.
There's got to be a fact finder.
I know what you mean though. It doesn't sort of go in you don't think maths teacher. Oh, motorbike racer. There's no link. But I mean, I do enjoy my job, and it is proper difficult. I work in a really tough school, so it isn't easy at all. But what in life's worth doing that's easy. And I think my main sort of reasoning for going into teaching was to help young kids get a good head start in life. And the way I kind of see it is, you're not necessarily going to use maths within your job, but you kind of by passing your maths GCSE or A level or whatever, you're showing future employers that you can problem solving, that you can do something difficult, you can stick at something. It's using logic and reason. You're just proving that you can take instructions and rules and apply them and follow them. And it's illustrating that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's more illustrating that you can apply yourself. So even if you're never good. like you don't go on to use algebra. Like it's difficult and it's hard, and so therefore if you do it and you succeed, then you've like achieved something. So yeah, I think that the reason why I went into it was just to try and help people, because it's almost, when you talk about levels, like ages, when you go through school, it is kind of like levels, and in order to go off to college to do something that you want to do, something interesting, a lot of the time you need to pass your GCSEs or get a certain grade or whatever, or to do apprenticeships or whatever you choose to do. So if I can help, people get on to doing stuff, then I sort of see that as I get a bit of a
kick out of that.
Yeah, like a reason to get out of bed, and because when I'm on something, I'm so motivated, and I can like stay up all night, and I'm like when I put my mind.
What are you doing with this podcast, mate?
When I put my mind to something, I can be like so dedicated, and like I get up. Like for instance, I meet my mate at the gym in the morning, so I make sure I get up early, and like I have flat out days. But if I don't set myself like deadlines and things, I am the most laziest person in the world. So like I've got to keep myself busy. So, but if I didn't, like for instance, if I didn't have a job Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so if I just raced motorbikes, I think I would be so lazy. So I've like even if if I started earning money from racing and didn't have to work, I would still do a job. To give myself a purpose, keep myself busy. I think it's important.
Well, Christian,
like what Christian was saying,
he was very, very honest with that interview. And obviously, what episode was that? Yeah, this is an opportunity to plug it back, isn't it? So go to
it was
episode.
Only a few. Yeah, it was only a few
episodes
ago. So I've had McGuinness, Jack Bernacle, McGuinness, Whittam, and then it was the one before that, I think.
It's mad, isn't it?
We've had some great guests recently. Obviously, I put a thing on Twitter this week asking people for their favourite interviews so far. Obviously we've had some really big names recently, but people were bringing up Whittam was probably the most common one people were talking about. It went down really well.
Aye.
Obviously McGuinness, Jack Bernacle, people have loved Jack Bernacle interview.
Has that been, obviously it's been done before in some stretch of imagination, but has it
doesn't get, no, I think we're the only person that's interviewed Jack, because he's always interviewing other people or commentating.
You could tell people. That, couldn't you? I think we touched on this subject on the episode beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit, you could tell his job is to talk about what's happening in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to talk about himself, and he got nervous about that. And I tell you what, fair play to him, man, because he did.
Lovely bloke, Jack, isn't he?
He is, man. He's just, he could. I tell you what, he could read your horror story and he'd fall asleep.
Tell you what, I was going to ask about the XL show. Have you been there before?
Nah,
neither.
Full of Southerners.
Is it is it like the NEC? But is it? Someone said to me it's like the NEC, but it's less sort of commercial and it's more to do with the racing. But I've never been. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to going. Like I say, I'm not working there. I'm choosing to go down.
Well, the thing is, it's February. Racing hasn't kicked off. Obviously, the lucky handful of people are going out testing, but then the average Joe can't go out and just go watch testing, can they?
That's it.
So it's a perfect market to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what, I was going to bounce an idea off you, right? And obviously, now that I'm kind of asking you this idea with the microphone in the face, but what are your thoughts to potentially doing like a fundraiser? If we did a kind of like a little party thing.
Like chasing the racing,
like
sort of
chasing, like, because obviously we're getting the studio done, like at some point, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to have to bleep that out?
No, it's studio.
You put it out there. That's
the studio's in.
I'm looking at you going, do you know I said that?
The studio's getting kitted out at the moment. I cannot wait for that.
That'll be absolutely class.
For people that don't know, at the moment we're recording this in a motorhome, so like a camper van next to my house.
We literally look like a porn parody of Max and Paddy. It's terrible. The neighbour over there, right? Them curtains rattle a fair bit. It's like, hey, Bobby!
So we're getting so I've got like a box trailer. And getting that kitted out into like
where sin goes to die,
basically like a studio, like a podcast studio. So what it'll mean is we can take the studio to guests, and we can sit together, and we'll have like a professional sort of,
It's about stepping it up, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I just think but obviously there's a lot of money going into this, and obviously obviously we've got one camera there, one camera over there, and it's like anything. If you people don't want to invest in shite. No, I think a fun
night out.
We'll get some guests lined up. We'll like get it up in the northeast, like a weekend kind of thing. Obviously we're listeners are listening to this now. Give us some feedback, drop us some messages, see what you think.
What's like before the racing season starts?
Before the
like
racing
a sort
season
of
goes,
like a chat, like a live podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
And then if anyone wants to come, we'll have like a raffle auction.
Yeah, put a bit of percentage into a charity as well. We'll put back on the poll. We'll do that.
Stick and then a night out in Newcastle after.
Well, that's it. You know what I mean? But I think it's a good opportunity because obviously, like the XL, obviously it would be great to get down there. Huge bike show, but it's a long way to go.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I think something
we'll
in the Northeast.
Obviously, next week's podcast we'll probably do from the XL, so we'll sort out a guest while we're down there. And
we'll just kidnap their guests. That's it. So, yet again, thank you for sponsoring this episode. We're going to nick all your guests.
So, we haven't actually announced what we'll talk about this. I mean, how far are we in? 20 minutes and we've hardly mentioned motorbike racing.
I was about to say, we've got an interview lined up, haven't we?
Aye. So we've got an interview with our shared mechanic, Piggy. And
the legend.
And other things that we've got to mention. We've got a bit on the riders.
It's roads heavy this episode.
Yeah, so riders that haven't announced yet and teams that haven't announced yet. We've also just seen the new launch of the Ducati, brand new Ducati.
I had not even heard about this till you showed me that photo. My God.
We've got a few questions from our patrons. Just like we can just go through that.
And thank you for becoming a patron, by the way.
And you've got a bit on the Ulster Grand Prix, haven't you?
Well, they've released a statement. Hold on, obviously you've caught me with a bit of a left hook.
I'll tell you what, just while you're looking
thank God.
While you're looking at that, I'll just obviously you mentioned what you've been up to with the flat track. At the weekend, I went down to Hull sort of area and collected my. I've just been sponsored with a caravan. So a guy called Mike Hurst from he's got a chocolate company called Pure Heavenly Chocolate has sponsored us a caravan. So
now hold on, there's a clear mind, isn't it? You're gonna have to bring some of that chocolate up
here.
Yeah,
I'll get some Pure Heavenly Chocolate. So
has anyone walked into a shop and gone, that's shite?
What's that?
Like the sponsor, you know what I mean? Pure Heavenly Chocolate, mate. This is
sounds beautiful, doesn't it?
It sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely phenomenal. But
I'll have to I'll bring some for the next episode. But big thanks to Mike. Really appreciate that. And because last year, a lot of the times I was kind of skipping in the back of the trailer, and it was literally just a box trailer with a sofa bed. And
oh wait a minute, can you hear that?
Can you
hear that?
What's that?
It's the world's smallest violin. Can you?
No, but I'm just saying it was a bit of comfort for next year. Will be really appreciated, and I'm it's lovely having my own little pad for the race weekend. So brought that back home at the weekend, and then other than that, I haven't really been up to much. Just get pre-season crack, getting gym, all that type of stuff. I've also got a KX 450 coming from Kawasaki as a training bike for the duration of the season. So I cannot wait to get that. Now I'm not looking to do motocross on it because I think the big jumps and that are there's too much of a risk of a stupid injury. But what I'm looking for is like enduro. There's a farm near here where you pay a tenner and there's loads of tracks everywhere and you can just please yourself. So if anyone from anywhere close to here, like 100-mile radius or whatever, anywhere around here, if anyone knows of any places I can ride,
honestly, I'm not.
Let us know, and I'll because I'm going down to MSG Bike Gear, which is one of a personal sponsor
based in Teesside area.
Teesside area. Yeah. I'm going to pop down there and get kitted out with all my motocross kit because I haven't got any. So I'm going to pop down there and get helmet, gloves, boots, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm obviously looking to get out on that maybe once a week, good bit of training. And
my John, just seen on Twitter, Instagram and stuff like that. Everyone's out on the motocross bikes. Obviously, it is the most physically demanding motorsport going.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be. Mm-hmm. I don't know how factual that is, but it's got to be, man. They're blowing out I tell you what, I'm blowing out my bagpipe after a race. But when you watch the motocross lads, the sheer fierce physicality of it is phenomenal.
Have you got any more mini bike stuff coming up?
No, well I've done the winter series, and obviously the summer series starts at the end of March, so it's coming a bit close to the big bike stuff. Obviously saving the money for the tyres and everything like that. It's I've never. Well, that's it. Normally, I bought the mini bike on a bit of a risk, really, but it paid off massively. Mm-hmm. I think I've thoroughly, more importantly, enjoyed it. But if you drop it, it's a £5 worth of damage. Boo-hoo. Right. But it's one of those. But I tell you what, speaking of damage, let's go back a subject to the Ulster.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, the Ulster Grand Prix have released their information, the statement. Obviously, Lawrence, give us a hand, try to tidy things up here.
I haven't actually seen this, so this is news to me as you read it out.
There's a huge statement, but obviously, essentially, the bullet points of it is, where they've pretty much announced from their own from their own lips, their own horse's mouth, shall we say, that 2019's pretty much 2020's not happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? But what they've done is gone to the local government and they've tried to get this and they've tried to get some back in. You know what I mean? They've pulled out all the stops, but obviously, you know, the sympathetic, you know, the crisis situation remains totally, which is not looking good whatsoever. But the most worrying, the worrying and unworrying thing is that there's no talk about 2021.
Right.
But the centenary year is the 2022. And they're hoping to get back on track with that. So there's
okay. Is it a financial issue there? Is that
totally? I think they've gone bump in the night, and I'm not talking Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? It's Thriller. Come on, it's not a sexual reference. Anyway, so it's not looking good at the moment for the Ulster, which is absolutely crap. Like it really is.
Right.
But the upsetting, because obviously I do the roads, and I think anyone did you ever go and see an Ulster? It's probably why it's called Bumped You Tight Get. That is a phenomenal circuit, absolutely phenomenal. You would honestly, you would absolutely love it, absolutely love it. But it's so it's gone from a 3-headed, like what I used to call like a 3-headed dragon. You know what I mean? Northwest TT Ulster, but now it's a bit like, don't get me wrong, you've got other events like the Macau, you've got the Southern 100, you've got Armoy road races, you've got loads of great meetings, but obviously the 3 main ones in commas was like them, like, well, the Ulster, but now it's not there, which is absolutely gutting.
I'm linking this in with one of our Patreon questions from Mike Orton, who said, I'd personally be interested to know what road racing meetings Dom is entering this year. He's just booked for Armoy, so looking forward to that. So
Armoy is a definite must go. I'll tell you what, have you been to a national meeting?
No.
You need to get out of the house, man.
Yeah, I'll get to some this year. What's the crack for you this year then? So obviously a bit of like testing or whatever before the season starts.
Well, we're not doing any Spain testing, you know, as much as that's something I would like to do. We just Davies Motorsport, we just sadly don't have the budgets to stretch. We are doing the Thundersport.
Oh, nice.
Obviously up to the TT now. Obviously everything runs on a budget now. The team have bought an R6 for us for this year now. The Hafe group based out of Doncaster. Now they sponsor the Birchill lads. You know, when you got Hafe written right up the side of the bike. Now the Davies lads know the Hafe lads really quite well, so they've come on board. They've backed that, which is brilliant. But we're still on a shoestring, and the fact is we're basing everything around the TT. And the good thing is that Colin and John are really thinking about trying to get some big bike time. So we'll be on the Belgrave bike from Sheffield there, and we'll be going round trying to do Thundersport so we can run the Dunlop tyres and just get some more track time. I'd like to try and do I'm definitely doing the North East Club round with the Counting team on the Super Twin. Well, bearing in mind if that gets built in time, it's like everything, it's never the actual physical building of it, it's getting jobs done, because obviously Super Twins are so bespoke. Yeah, you can't just scan. I tell you what can have an airbox. You need someone to specially design that, and then you need to get the Motec this and blah 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 to make it. And the Counting, you know, James Counting proved that. You know, they can build a very, very competitive bike, a very competitive bike. But no, so yeah, it's a case of we're doing the Oliver's Mounts now. The only round that collides with Oliver's Mount is the Barry Sheen Classic with Armoy. Right. Okay. But the Davies team and I'm not sure about the Countings yet. I need to ask them. So if you are listening, can we do it? So no, we're going over there because the Armoy meeting will be doing the 350 and the 500 Classic, as well as the big 1,000 race and the 600 races. Right. So we're going to be we're not going to be off the track. So it's going to be busy, really busy. We'd like to go back with the Davies team back to the Southern 100. Hopefully. Pre-TT.
And
TT.
Northwest?
Hopefully. I think I really, really want to go. Really want to go.
Is there a question mark of that at the moment? Like, not yet.
It's always that double-edged sword, and it's always been a shame because I think every rider thinks that. And they're both fantastic events, but it's like the TT is you're swapping 3 days riding at the Northwest for 2 weeks at the TT, and the truth of the matter is people remember who win TTs, not Northwest. You know what I mean? It's the bigger event.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, people do remember who win Northwests. But it's very
I know what you mean.
Close, very close as events. It's not like they've got 3 months apart.
Yeah.
Where they would just get the equal amount of numbers. It's 2 weeks. And the budget does not get stretched, mind.
I bet.
It properly gets stretched. But no, as far as that's concerning, that's really my plan, which is absolutely brilliant. But hey, speaking of plans, have you seen what Michael Dunlop's been putting all over? Well, bleeding in Instagram and not. I don't think Dunlop himself. Obviously, the TT website have been putting it out there and Road Racing News and obviously all the platforms.
One of the things I made notes on before we went live on the podcast was the fact that there's quite a few riders that haven't announced for the roads and also teams. So I wonder if we can kind of join the dots and make a few conclusions. But
so the rumour mill begins.
You think of anyone that I've missed off this list? But the people who haven't announced anything yet: Gary Johnson.
Well done. Well, let's go back a page.
At a time.
So he was Lee Hardy's man, wasn't he?
Yeah, RAF regular reserves.
That team haven't announced either.
They haven't actually announced BSB, but Vickers keeps tagging them into things, and they're tagging Vickers. So I presume that's.
Why wouldn't you not?
I don't know. Maybe a sponsorship thing, or I don't know. But so we've got Gary Johnson, Hutchie. I'll tell you what, I'll read them out and then we can talk about them. Hutchie,
join along at home.
Michael Dunlop, Paul Jordan and Derek Shields all haven't announced any solid plans for this year. Now, obviously we've just said about Gary Johnson, could be staying at RAF but maybe moving somewhere else, I'm not sure. We've got Hutchie, he rode at the end of the last year for Sean Muir at Macau, and he's been out at Almeria for weeks. He's been getting loads of riding
racing out there?
BMW. I presume through Sean Muir as well, so that he could be going with them or going elsewhere.
TT, and he's been so close.
Yeah, Michael Dunlop, obviously, as you've just said, he's probably going to run himself on the Stocker.
I think he's been very open about that. I think that's his definite plan,
like MD Racing.
Yeah. So,
but on the superbike, I think there's a big question over there. Your mate Paul Jordan. He has got it right, but we're not sure where.
Yeah, he's very open about the fact that he's like, oh, I'm off to see my new bike and off to do this, and you think, well, just stop tiptoeing around the rim, young, and just stick your tongue in it and go for it. You know what I mean?
And we've got Derek Shields as well. I don't know Derek. Are you mates with him or?
No, I know Derek. I know Derek really well. Well, not really well. Been for a couple of drinks with him, but no, he's just announced his retirement. He plays his. Not his sorry. No, not his retirement. No, he's announced that he's retired from the Burrows team.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, he hasn't announced what he's doing. But speaking of Burrows, Mike Brown's. Burrows' team very well. John Burrows won loads and loads of races. Very established team. Now, that's terrible, man. That's terrible. What's the lad's name who raced from?
Who's that for Burrows?
He won a Manx Grand Prix. Oh. There'll be people screaming. Total mind block. But Mike Brown, who's been he was pushing, he pushes hard, mind on the roads really hard. So he's signed up for a good established team, which is brilliant. Mm-hmm. So as far as other news, I'm trying to look down on my side here. It's a bit like
anyway, they're the lads, going on. But the teams that I've got that haven't announced anything. We've got RAF, like we said, haven't announced anything. Sean Muir Racing, Hawk haven't announced anything for the roads. Taz haven't announced anything. Paul Bird's been running the Ducati at the Northwest for the last few years. That's nothing been announced. And also, I think Pens have got at least one more rider to announce for the TT. So there's quite a few seats up for grabs.
So they've actually got a ride already?
Pens. To be honest, I'm not sure, mate.
You are, but you won't tell us.
No, I generally don't know. No, I don't know.
No, all right, I have no idea. So I tell you what are we, February the... Let me check the phone here.
February the 6th.
February the 6th, it's time's not half ticking. Realistically, what would you say? It's a 2 month till it properly gets going.
Well,
would you say...
there's loads of lads been out testing already, so...
Because you BSB lads, you're very much more... You're solid earlier, because obviously there's more... Everyone's looking for that next... bite, isn't it? I think roads lads, especially the shall we say the pedigree lot, like your Hutchies and your Dunlops and your sharp end lads, I think they can hold off to the last bit, can't they? you know, if you've got a name, but the BSB, it seems to be quite early because, like you with MSS, that was a sharp, which is brilliant for you.
Yeah, yeah.
But it seems that was early doors, like.
Mm-hmm.
Because when did you get that sorted?
Just after the last round.
After the last, see what I mean? So you're already immediately on that. But when
Mhm.
you read out that list, it's quite a hell of a list, really.
Mm.
When you think, how are we coming to go?
I mean, Taz, I think there's a big question mark over whether they're going to be coming back to the TT. But you know, with
but they've been very. See, that's the thing. You don't know what's true and what's not anymore, do you? Because you think, is it someone spreading it, or has it actually come from actual TAS's website or Facebook or FaceTube, whatever? Has it come from them?
I've got no idea. But
See what I mean? Like
they've just been quiet, haven't they? And just haven't. I don't know if they're taking a back step with the road race and focus on the BSB. Obviously, they've. To be fair, they've been the official BMW team in BSB for a good few years now, and they just haven't came up with the goods. They've had some top riders. They miss the showdown every year. Smith's Racin, who are the privateer BMW team, have beaten them consecutively for a good few years now, and they just. I mean, they look amazing. I'm sure, you know, I know a few of like the mechanics and stuff. They are an amazing team, but for some reason it's
Something's
just not
clicking.
working. And maybe they think that they're a bit stretched with all the road racing and this and that, and maybe they just need to focus on one. I don't know. I'm totally speculating.
See, we're total different sides of the coin for me. For me, I'm thinking, why don't they just focus on roads? And you'd be thinking, well, why don't you just stick at short circuits? You know, no, fair enough.
I suppose a lot of that will come down to the sponsorship and stuff. One of the other questions actually that we had was about the Taz sponsorship, and I'm pretty sure, the Tygo sponsorship. I'm pretty sure they have lost that Tygo, so they're called Taz BMW now, not Tygo BMW.
I wonder who grabbed that.
I don't know, because we put on the rumour mill ages ago. Well, I did, that Tygo were going to Paul Bird, but
That's
it's
what
not.
You must have told me that. Oh,
Vision have joined. Know how it was the BY's Ducati. It's now like the Vision
change of brand
sponsor. Yeah.
Oh no! All right, no. So it's not BY's that have changed there.
Oh no,
it's
Vision, totally different company.
Got you. But have we got any other crack on the world scene or anything? No, just everyone's just bombing around burning tyres, aren't they?
Yeah, just usual shite. Kawasaki have just announced like the new livery. It looks exactly the same as last year. Bit of testing.
We're hitting
going
the
on.
lull here.
Obviously,
We're hitting the lull.
MotoGP have been out testing. Lorenzo's been back with Yamaha as the test rider. Took him 44 laps to match his qualifying time on the Honda, which obviously just shows you how much more comfortable he is on the Yamaha. And maybe that'll
a paycheck would help that, Mike.
Maybe that. Well, I don't think it's money, mate. I think he's Honda would have been paying him ridiculous amounts, and he's come back as a test and all. He won't be, it isn't for money. It's just he's so much more comfortable on the Yamaha. Maybe
you were Lorenzo fan. Well, you're a Rossi man through and through.
Yeah, but I was never really much of a fan of Lorenzo, but it would be great to see him come back, and
we'll get him on the pod.
What? I would more than anything, I would absolutely love to see Casey Stoner back, but I don't think we'll ever see him back in MotoGP.
That's the end of that, isn't it?
I think he was so special to watch, and when you see him, obviously he's got a corner named after him at Phillip Island. But I was listening to Casey did a great interview with on a podcast called Rusty's Garage. If you haven't checked it out, go on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast, type in Rusty's Garage. There's a few good podcasts on there. There's a Steve Parish one, Jerry Burgess has done one, Troy Bayliss has done one, Casey Stoner's it's like a 2-part episode. It's really worth listening to. And he was talking about how to go into fast corners, he would light up the rear wheel going into the corners, so that do you know if you're drifting a motorcycle, so the rear end stepped out, obviously the front is pointing like the different
counter steering,
counter steering. The front's like not. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like off to the
side.
You're
turning into it, yeah.
And it's impossible to tuck the front. Say going round a left-hand corner, to tuck the front, your left handlebar would go down. Yeah? Do you know what I'm thinking? If you're facing that way, so
it's
facing right, it's impossible to then lose the front. So going into corners, he would light up the rear wheel to get the rear wheel spinning.
How did he make the tyre last, or was that...
I know, it's unreal, isn't it? I honestly don't know.
Because Nax tyres, because Christian was known for that. Because he didn't, you know what I mean? He would go out and just smash the tyre.
Thruxton's such a unique race because it's not it's not who can do the fastest lap.
It's who can save the tyre.
Yeah, and that was my best race on the superbike when I was there in BSB.
Just holding on to the tyre.
Yeah. Well, basically, you have to choose you either go for the hard tyre or the a harder compound or a softer compound. Softer, you get more grip, but the grip falls off a cliff earlier, so it's a
gamble.
You've got to set your bike up in free practice around either the hard or the soft, and then you've got to make that strategy work for you. And it's much more. It's like a really technical race.
Tactical, more the word, isn't it? And just actually dry.
So good. But that's about all my crack on for this podcast. Let's have a look. We've got that new Ducati 90k,
honestly,
90,000 quid.
What's
beautiful.
What's it called?
I don't know.
The new Ducati.
New Ducati. I think it's a super. Is it a super? I don't know. Super something, but it's a super price anyway. £90,000, but it looks awesome. It's got all the wings. It's so trick. But yeah, you'd expect it to be for that money, wouldn't you?
God, it's beautiful.
And
absolutely beautiful.
Tell you what, I'll just get a few, because we had a few interesting questions from our patrons. Let's see. The same guy, Mike Orton, also asked.
He's been a busy lad, hasn't he?
Yeah. Also, is the bomb squad running for 2020? Question for yourself.
The bomb squad was a huge success last year, and I can't thank everyone enough, you know what I mean? Just people coming out the blue going, there you go, help out. And it was a case of, it was just starting to help out towards my tyre fund, and it was really, really mind-blowing, the amount of support I got. But we're going to try something a little bit different this year, and another idea I'm going to bounce off you. Right, because I was a midgey's dick, and I'm a midgey's dick, of doing 130 mile an hour, right, this year.
Mm-hmm.
So close. I think it worked out at less than 2 seconds, and
which around 37 miles is absolutely nothing.
It's a gear change. Mm-hmm. It's upsetting. But
if you'd had a shit before the start,
honestly, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. But it's like my dad's put me best setters together. Obviously, yellow flags and blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I'm capable of 131.
Right.
Just shy of it, he worked out a 30.9 or whatever. So I'm on a stock bike, not a super bike, on a stock bike.
Mm-hmm.
But what our idea is, we want to start the 130 club, and obviously the idea would be to get 130 people giving 130 quid. Now that's a lot of money per. If someone said, "Give me 130 quid," that's a lot of money.
130 people. Why limit the amount of people?
I just think...
Or is that the target? But then you could
that would
get
be
over.
the target. No, we could, but I think obviously it keeps it a bit more of a target fixation. You know what I mean? Keep it themed. But now, don't get me wrong. I think we're going to chuck in a lot of merchandise with that. Like a big cover. Like enamel badges. Now I've got a really good friend of mine, like Nathan, BR8. He's going to run the newsletter. We're going to do a private thing, similar to the Patreon kind of system. You know what I mean? Obviously, because the Patreon then get in touch with us, but a bit more just the TT side of things, and obviously just the road side of things with myself. And then obviously hats, hoodies, T-shirts, you know what I mean, stickers, a naked poster review, whatever tickles people's fancy, you know what I mean? Liz Hurley, a photo of Liz Hurley.
So basically, for 130 quid, you get the bomb hat, T-shirt, hoodie. What else?
Badge. We're feeling. We're feeling out the market. And obviously it's a case of please get in touch with us or with myself. It's an idea that I want to bounce off people because I just want to narrow the numbers a bit more. Don't get me wrong. I'm so grateful for everyone, absolutely everyone who's donated. And obviously, a tenner is considerably more doable, but it's something I would like to try and push because I don't have my own. I do hats and obviously all that money from me hat sales from the TT cases phone cases website that goes back to me. But then obviously we just want to try and make something a bit more special. Now don't get me wrong, I think we'll be lucky to get 5. I can't, there's no way in hell we'll get 130. I'll be absolutely gobsmacked. But stuff we're going to put raffles at the end of the year, get a set of me levers, a helmet, you know what I mean, that kind of just going to see what people want, and then we can build it up from there. That's the idea.
But, fantastic.
But until then, I'll be back in the woods working my bloody arse off.
Aye.
Unreal, man.
I tell you what, I did see this week. Do you know Tom Booth Amos?
Now, I know what you're going to say because I've seen the same bloody thing.
He's he was racing in Moto 3 last year, the official Moto 3 championship.
And you can't be a mug to be racing in that.
Oh,
you
absolutely not.
You are far from a mug to be racing in that. So fair play.
Last race of the season at Phillip Island, he'd never been before, and he did. That was by far his best race.
Yeah.
I think he was like, can't remember where he finished, but it was like in the points, not far off that leading group. And but he was actually the most crashed rider in the whole paddock last year. He had 33 crashes, which, if you think, on one of those bikes,
the lad's pushing.
Yeah, that's going to rack up some
serious cheddar. That
absolutely. But he didn't. I think one of his main sponsors pulled out, and he's going to be riding in the World Supersport 300 Championship. So it's like
at world level.
Well, it's World
is it
Superbikes.
So
it runs along the World Superbike thing. So it's like it's not a race bike. It's a
production bike.
A production bike, 300s, and they say 300s, but you can have a Kawasaki 400, KTM 390. It's
different brands.
Yeah, there's quite a few different brands. Yamaha have one. I think Yamaha 400. I think it is. But yeah, they all race in that championship around the world. Anna Carrasco won it a couple of years ago. Do you know the female? She's the only female world champion.
Fair play.
So that Tom's got to ride in that for next year.
Mm-hmm.
And
because he was looking for a ride beforehand, wasn't he? Bombing around on supermotors and stuff. He was saying I was looking for a ride and everything like that. So at least he's got one.
So he's going to be riding in that next year. But I was going to say he's launched a GoFundMe campaign. Which
that's the bit I saw. Now,
to me, I'm really, really not a fan of GoFundMe pages to go racing. But what makes what makes it work?
I've got a confession. One of my best mates. Now, obviously, I bought a BMW with my mates, like Stephen and Holly, right? And I went to Croft on it.
I know what you're going to say.
I know.
This is an exception, but
but it was still like my mate Anthony Ambler, God love him, because I never had the balls to do it and set up a GoFundMe page called Get Dom to the TT. So anyway, I went in the first corner. I got a whole shot, got a bit giddy, became a heavy-handed whore on the Go Juice, opened her up, high-sided it, and ripped the tank open and burnt me bike to the floor.
I remember that.
Just, you know what I mean? I put half the money in. Stephen and Holly put the other half in, and we bought this bike, and I barbecued the living I couldn't, mate. I just went self-employed to go to racing TD. We had to scrub at everything, and we just spent hours. Me and me two mates we spent. I didn't even go to work. I just spent everything scrimping and building everything. We set up this GoFundMe page, and I wrote everyone's name on the bike who donated. And people were coming up going, "There's 50 quid, and there's anything." This is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But
I was going to say that's a total exception.
Now the exception, but you see the point. Before you jump into it, let me get my dig in. Now, what I've seen, right? Obviously, since then, I've been following with the news and obviously, looking into him and stuff, right? He's been eating Spanish meals off the balcony terrace and penthouses, living the high life, bombing around the world, right? Just doing sweet, not doing any work as far as I can see, as far as his social media presence, and he's begging for money. He's on holiday.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
Don't get me wrong.
I don't know if he does work, but it certainly doesn't look like that. And he's flying around the world, and I'm just not. Do you know what? If you're grafting and you're putting everything into it, and you're not quite making it, then I think fair dues. You're desperate to race, and you'll do anything. But if you're not,
it's difficult. We see the thing is what he's portrayed there. There's probably a lot going on behind the scene that we don't see. At the end of the day, there's always two sides to an argument. There'll be people who are big fans of him and everything. I don't know the lad, but from the way it's portrayed on social media, obviously you can't take everything on social media for gospel, can you? But the way it looks at the moment, it's like, come on, let's tidy up the act a bit. Mm-hmm. But
but I was going to mention about
there's two sides to each story, and fair enough, he's not here to defend himself. So I do apologise for that side of it. But the way it looks for me, it's a bit like you're out, walking around with tanned hinnies, eating fancy food, and then begging for money.
For any Tom Booth Amos fans, anyway, if you donate over 100 quid to the GoFundMe page, he'll send you out a T-shirt. expensive t-shirt. And for anyone who donates over £200, there's a chance to win 2 passes selected to a World Superbike round. So yes, if you wish
there
to,
you are. If you want to donate, if you want to help
if
the
you-
lad out, there you are. That's the way to do
head
it and get
over
your
to there.
ticket.
Speaking
Speaking of ticket, better
Next
put the
topic.
Euro millions, millions.
Euro
Put the Euro millions on. God, that'll be good. We'll get out this camper van eventually. Dreams aim high. Dreams aim high. But I tell you what, speaking of dreams, I dream to be like Piggy. We better get this.
Before
Before we
on
put
there,
him on.
I'll just check the patrons in case I haven't mentioned and if missed anything out. I had a message off Mike again about how's my rehab
Is he
going?
off on these holidays with his Amos lad or something like that?
How is the rehab going? It's going really well, mate. Obviously, I had a shoulder operation straight after the season in October, but I've been working really hard. I see the physio every week, once a week, and then in between smashing the gym every day, and my shoulders like get really, really like back to full fitness, going really well, thanks. Norton, people asking about Norton and if Hickey's still going to be able to race it. Now, I think Smith's already bought the Super Lights. They're called Super Lights? Yeah, Super Lights.
But there
the
have to be
twins.
so many made to make it
Homologated.
Yeah, man. I can't even speak.
Yeah,
man.
so that's a big question. I don't actually know the answer to that, so we'll have to.
That
was from
sniffing
skid marks.
To be fair, in the same breath, at the end of the day, we were talking about with this with Zoe, like, and even touching about on the topic. There's always two sides to it. So personally, I would like to see Norton out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Not like the British. Norton have been around long before Stuart Garner and long before everything else. It's a British. It's British. It's British. God damn British Zulu fighting British. Get it out there, but in the same breath, it's got to be legit.
That's
You know what I mean? Because rules separate us from the animals.
So another one, Shane Rallies. Will Chrissy be coming to the TT to watch this year?
He's entering. I've entered him.
I'll definitely be there.
You can be pit bitch.
I'll 100% be out there.
I call him to put you to work. Change the wheel.
Hopefully, mate, I'll see a bit more action than I did this time at the TT in 2019. Because
it's your fault.
Me and the missus came out for 4 full days and we didn't see one lap because of the weather. So hopefully, I'll either come for longer or I'll
You can watch it from YouTube. That's what you're doing.
We'll get some good podcasts. Obviously, Glenn mentioned about doing something when we're there because obviously it's going to be his debut season. So that'd be a good interview.
We've got loads. I tell you what, the thing is, what I was worried about is obviously after this episode, Piggy's like the best guest we're going to ever have. And I think
downhill from you.
It really is, isn't it? You know what I mean? Screw them husbands. You know what I mean? Piggy's the future, and I think we're really going to. I think this has got to be our final episode. I think we're just going to get. It's. I think that's the end of it. This is the end of Chasing the Race. And
one more from Mr. Ian Roderick, and it says, now that Shaky Byrne won't be coming back, which is a pity, do you have any gossip on his new ventures? Is it rider management? I've heard managing Bradley Ray. And is it true Tyco have pulled sponsorship from Taz? Are they still doing the roads? So we've already mentioned them last 2 points. But Shaky Byrne, I presume, he's been very involved with the Eurosport job, presenting the BSB programme, and I think he does a superb job at that. He also does his own podcast, it's the Eurosport podcast, but it's called The Shaky Show, which is, if you're into your BSB, it's good crack. Other than that,
thank God you listened to this one.
Yeah, right. In terms of rider management, Shaky and Matt Roberts together manage Bradley Ray.
Really?
Now, yeah. So maybe that's something that he'll be going into more, or like obviously sorting things out with Brad. Brad's actually been out spending like the last month or so with Chaz Davies out. So they're out testing together and like riding like super motorbikes and all kinds. For me, really looking forward to seeing how Brad gets on this year. I think great talent. Obviously, he's a race winner at BSB. I like him personally. I think he's a great lad. But I feel, although the Hawk race, I'm not saying anything bad about Hawk Racing. I think they're a cracking team. I think they do an amazing job with the bike. When I first got into BSB years ago, I used to love seeing like Scott Smart and Glenn Richards race for them. But for me, I just feel like sometimes in racing, things can get a bit stale. So if you're with the same team, the same bike, and it's after a number of years, once you've tried and like
You don't see the development.
I just feel like it's the right time for a change for him, and I think a new bike, a new team, hopefully just gives them that spark. And like I say with Tygo, if they don't do the roads as well and they just concentrate on BSB, who knows? It could be a successful season for them. So wish them all the best. And like I say, he's out having a good pre-season. And for ourselves, I think my first test is.
We've got nothing to say about this bloody after this interview. I think we should leave your news till after the interview.
I think beginning of March I should be getting out testing.
Where
I'm hoping to get a few days in Spain down at Cartagena.
Oh, brilliant!
What about? Do you know when you're out?
Nah,
not sure at first. But
I think it'll be Thundersport, if anything. So straight
that'll
out.
Probably be March or April, is it?
End of March, I believe. So it's straight out of the deep end, young'un. Straight out of the deep end. Don't forget your armbands.
So over to our beloved mechanic.
Yes.
And
looking forward to
we've got. I think was it about half an hour.
Something like 8. It wasn't long enough, man. Like I say, it's all downhill from here. So there you go.
But over to Mr. Piglet. Hey up, young'un.
Hey up, Nipper.
We're pleased to be joined by the one and only Mr. Piggy, and I think
the famous world's best mechanic,
doing us proud, wearing the merch, getting it out there. If you're watching on YouTube,
the only merch,
the only
merch that's out there.
One size fits all.
There was a rumour flying around, my good man, that you used to be considerably taller. And then he started working with Chrissy. He used to be like 6'2", and he's ground you all the way down to 3'3". Yeah, I love you, mate. Yeah, I love you.
But anyway, how's it going? Are you missing the race and every weekend, either at BSB with me or on the roads with this nutter? What are you doing with yourself?
Do we want to answer? Do we want to ask that? You know what I mean? A busy man with his hyperactivity, he could be doing really one or two things: working, which no one likes, and the other thing, which everyone likes.
Well, I'm set for going to Spain, so I've been getting my bike ready.
Oh,
I had one given, so I've been working on that, just getting that prepped up and ready.
Hey, you're getting more testing in than us. You're out all the time, aren't you?
But I'm not as fast.
I wouldn't say that.
So, because you usually go out on the 400, don't you? So, what are you taking out this time?
It's a 600 Honda in a 400 Yamaha frame.
Oh, mint.
So it should be all right.
And that's over at Almeria.
In Almeria, yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So Brogy will be there probably. So
mint.
That should be good, yeah.
A few tips.
Okay, that's the street name. What's his proper name?
Mr. Brogan.
No, Mr. Brogan. Steve Brogan, the BSB rider. Give us some tips. Good lad.
Spot on. So, how's the day job going? For our viewers who don't know, what do you do between the races?
Bit of groundwork, landscaping, block paving, and busy. Plenty of work on. Doing.
So anyone in the Yorkshire area, if you need anything doing, it's Haycott block paving.
Yeah, they're the ones.
Is that what your business is called?
Oh yeah.
He's won Chelsea.
Yeah, won Chelsea.
Shut up, man.
Chelsea Flower Show, yeah.
Chelsea Flower Show, yeah.
Winners everywhere. Winners everywhere tonight, isn't there? You. What have I won? Bad company. That's what I won.
Anyway, we've just been down so we're in sort of Maltby area, so we've just been over for a little takeaway. It was called Goodfellas, but it was more like
Scruffy fellas.
Scruffy fellas.
That's where they got me.
But it's good. It's good to pop down and see you, and we can't wait to get ready for the season. So looking forward to a bit of testing and getting back to normality. Yeah,
that's what we need.
I'll tell you what made me laugh, man, was obviously where we are right now is in a lovely, lovely area, and we drove down the road. He goes, "I'll stay and guard the van," and when you're thinking, "Are you joking?" He's looking at me. He goes, "Right, Dom, I'll stay with it just in case someone sets it on fire." I'm going, "Where have you brought?" And there's Scruffy fella picking his nose, going, "Do you want salad on it?" I'm like, "Mate, just whatever's gonna give me some sort of antibiotic. I'm 100% behind this."
Anyway, so
he's our own Chrissy here is totally starstruck. He's worked with you for years. So anyway, right, how did this magic? Now I know how I ended up meeting him. Right, how did you two end up meeting? I'm literally like the rose between two thorns here. I'm going to get a bad neck. I'm sitting right bang in the bleeding middle here.
Like a game of tennis.
That's it. Same. No, dodgy eyes. So how did you two meet then? How did this magical romance happen?
So for me, so my mum's a childminder, And we looked after a young lad called Paul, and Paul's dad has a sister, and the sister, Beth, was going out with Mark, and then
I'm lost
Mark.
already. Yeah.
It's quite a long-winded story, but Mark.
But it's worth it.
Yeah. So Mark was. So Mark was my mechanic originally, and then he brought along a friend back in Mallory Park in 2010.
Is that what it were?
The first time, yeah. And from then started working, and then it's been, since then pretty much flat out.
Yeah.
Lots of good times.
Yeah, loads of good times.
And I was racing for Steve Patrickson, so came there and then went up the Triumph and then all the way through. And we'll get on to some of the memories throughout the years. But anyway, we've had a few people get in touch and ask where does the name Piggy come from?
Right. Well, that comes from I used to work at a quarry I did my apprenticeship, my fitting, like as a mechanic apprenticeship at quarry. Now,
hold on. For our listeners, what the hell are you fixing at a quarry? Spades and shovels?
Yeah. Plant stuff, caterpillars and...
What, big...
big cats, yeah.
Like the squirmy things are turning into butterflies?
No, not them, they're little caterpillars.
Big diggers, yeah. So carry on. Yeah.
Diggers and dumpers, yeah.
They are.
And some lads I used to go to Racin with, they lived in village. Well, one of them lived in village, him and his brother. Were Mick. He passed away sadly a few years ago. Yeah, sound bloke. There were his brother Sandy, and if you made a mistake or
Sandy that works in the quarry,
Alexander.
I
So
like it.
if you made a mistake, he'd go to you. You're a right donkey, right? So when I were at quarry, some lads, I was still an apprentice at the time. If they made a mistake, I used to say, "You're a right donkey," right? So then I turned it to EO. I'd say, "Hey up, EO." Right? And one day, this kid turned around. He says, "If I'm EO, you're Piglet." So that's how it started.
Right.
Yeah. So now I still get Piglet sometimes, depending where they know me from. But it got shortened.
Everyone at the BSB paddock will be running around going, "Oh, Piglet, what's the crack?"
Yes. So that's how I got it. Yeah.
And for those that don't know, the proper name is Peter. So if you
Peter Piggy, it even rhymes. Doesn't
Peter
it?
Piggy.
I love it. The things you learn on this tour, mate. The things you learn on this tour.
So speaking of obviously being out both of our mechanics, where did all the the bike racing fit in? When did you start getting involved? And
that was my cousin. I first went in 1972 to Cadwell Park, and I sort of went a few times a year with him up until I went with one of my other cousins to Grand Prix, and then, as I said, when I met the lad called Mick
Jagger,
he went to a lot of races, and I used to just tag along with him because I weren't driving. I didn't have I'd only be sort of 14, 15.
Not driving legally.
Not driving legally, yeah. Just in fields on tractors.
Now hold on. I'm missing another story here. Now go on, you two are winking at each other across the bar here. What's going? What do you mean driving legally? Is there any more stories here?
No stories.
No, your mother's not going to listen to this, so don't worry about it. Come on,
please, mate.
No, we would have been locked up long ago if that was the case. I'm telling you. Absolutely.
So we did. Just then, Mick started taking me to a lot of meetings, and then as soon as I was old enough, I bought a 750 Honda, and we used to go to all racing on that, and it's just carried on from there really. As soon as I was out my time, I had my apprenticeship at quarry, I could go to TT because my exams always drop TT time. So until I come out my time, I couldn't go to TT. But as soon as I was clear for that, I've been TT every year since, yeah.
And when was it when you started getting involved at like mechanicking on the bikes?
Sort of. I've always done my own and done stuff for mates, but I did a bit in 91, was it 92 at the Manx. My mate did newcomers, and then year after he bought it. Were ex-Philip McCallan NC30. And he fell off Union Mills. They were all right, but bike with that too badly damaged to carry on.
Did he come off going in or on the way out?
Pub,
Hold on, so tip in it.
You tip the left, and then you go right in front of the pub.
You're joking, he binned it off on the right?
There's a house there, yeah.
Son of a...
Yeah, they were all right.
How are you all right after that? Fair play to him. Who was your mate? Superman? Gee.
He ended up smashing front weel, so yeah.
So
They
don't build bikes like that anymore, do they? When you just break a front wheel, that's phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
So you've been going to TT for
1990, my first year.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So
and not missed one. Been every year since. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Has that always been on a professional capacity, or not obviously your first couple you wouldn't have been, or not?
No.
Have you always been working throughout that?
No. I'd worked at Manx for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then had a break really until I went with Daly year before.
Was that Daly Matheson?
Was that 2017?
That was
2018?
2018
it was, yeah.
That would have been the store-bought bike, wouldn't it?
Yeah, store-bought bike. Yeah.
I remember watching that on ITV. Is it ITV4 that played that on?
Yeah.
And the Daly was in the electric race with Nottingham University.
Yeah.
So he's sat on the grid ready to go, obviously like lining up, and it's all serious, and all the mechanics look dead serious. And Piggy stood behind him with them flat back caps. He had a flat back cap, but it was like hot, like on the pace, like sideways, like he was some kind of rapper. And then his mate flips it off, like flips his cap off, and then he's like, oh no, like that, and, like looking for it. Honestly, mate, it's hilarious.
Well,
ITV4,
that's
brilliant.
got to be on YouTube somewhere.
You get on TV everywhere, you don't you?
Yeah. I always do my best. I don't get on quite a bit.
Yeah, you're always on.
I hope you're wearing that shirt.
Always.
I'll tell you what, one of the most successful tweets we've had on this show was when, where's Piggy at the Isle of Man?
Yeah, we're good one to that. It was funny that we had a right laugh doing that.
Bet I.
That one at Crosby, we were waiting for no traffic because it was like bedlam. It was really, really busy. So like, I stood at the wall and my mate was using my phone, and he's like, kept missing me, and then the screen went blank. So what's your password? What's code? What's code? And I'm like shouting at the road, and buses are coming, and I'm like running back up and down to church where he was stood taking photo. So I'm running up and down, and eventually decided we'd use his phone, and he knew how to work it. So it took us about, I don't know, we were an hour doing that phone. So No. So I walked back to them all, and he says, we were going to take one tomorrow.
That's brilliant. So ever since that quiz, though, how are you coping with podcast fame? How you must be beating them off with a big ass stick, youngin.
Do you know Pete's been out in? You were in some pub in Ireland, weren't you? And somebody knows your name from the podcast.
Yeah. When we were at Armoy.
You're joking.
No, you know, that pub we went to on straight on corners. You go to the thing. Yeah, we were in there, and me and my mate stood just near the bar, and this last said to me, mate.
Stunner like.
They're all lovely in Ireland.
Oh, you're smoothie. You're smoothie.
She says, who's your favourite rider then? So my mate, so before he could answer, she says, mine's Dominic Herbertson. And she says, did you listen to that podcast? Yeah. And my mate said, Julius, yeah. She says, that's Piggy. That's Piggy. She went, hey, yo, Piggy. And she jumped up and
I was wondering where you ran off to with a big smile on your face.
You were her favourite rider.
Not anymore. She's met you now, so I'm second fiddle. I'll cope with the troubles. Yeah, I tell you what, that was some crack that night, man.
It was brilliant.
Because we were all down the pub, and obviously all my team, Davies and John and Colin, all that, going, right, we're just going to head back. And Martin, who's he's one of the lads, isn't he? He's totally one of the lads. And he's like, well, you could tell he was like a little kid who's just lost his dodie. He's like that going, but I want to stay out. And me and Piggy are knocking pints back on. I'm like, Martin, get yourself out of here, young, get yourself out of here. I've got us a lift. Don't you worry, I've got us a lift. And he goes, well, I'll just stay with Tom. And John and Colin go, fine. I'm like, right, see you later, lads, no bother. The door shut. I went, Martin, I'm not going to lie, I have no fucking idea how we're getting home. And Martin went, don't worry, Dom, I know that. So I ended up drinking with him all night. It was funny as hell, man.
That was a good night, didn't it?
It was hellish.
So one of the questions I was wanting to ask on the podcast today, so is obviously you've had a really busy 2020, working for us both. Is there any sort of standout moments throughout the season that, like really positive, your best moments of the year?
Oh, the game. He's picking for a favourite here. He's looking for a favourite. Go on, Chrissy. Your way. Come on, it had to be that.
That win. Yeah.
to be
Win
that.
at Donington.
It's been a long time coming for us, hasn't it?
Yeah. That old Chrissy, you'll get me, when you jumped off bike.
Yeah.
He just hugged me, and it was like you've not seen me for 100 years. It was just mega. It felt, honestly, it felt so good. And it meant a lot. Yeah, it was good.
Because how long have you two actually worked together? Years-wise, no, Triple Challenge days for
Probably
you.
in 2011, wasn't it?
Now, was that
came on probably with the 125s, GP 125s.
Yeah, because
So
we were a
it's
bit with John when you were on Super
Super
Teams, but I
Teams,
didn't really do much on bike then, really, did I? We just come.
So you've literally been, so your career, you've both gone through.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So
We'll come as a duo, you know.
that's
That's the first thing on the negotiation tables when we sit down with the new team, you know.
all joking apart, but that is actually that all joking apart, that is the crack though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
because people are fickle, aren't they? People are totally fickle. They're just getting right. Well, you do get self drawn in. Well, this, I want the job and I'll do anything. But you really, when you told me about this job opportunity, you do not go anywhere without the main man here.
That's right.
So I could tell when you're a little bit dubious on the rental to me. You're like, well, you can go with Dom, but you best be back here, young'un. You best be back here.
And speaking of working with Dom this year, how have you found? Obviously,
I better leave.
So, you did the Northwest.
Yeah, that was sort of the first time I've worked with you, and Colin and Davies' team. That was Northwest, wasn't it?
Never been on the track with you ever.
No.
Northwest was the
first one, wasn't it? Yeah.
God, man, I chucked in the
We'd
deep end.
sort of met, haven't we, through just a quick chat. We'd never like worked together as in mechanic and rider, had we? No, never.
And then from the Northwest on to the TT.
That were good. That 10th were pretty good.
He's taking full credit. You know what I mean? I've been here 10 minutes, Dom, and he got 10th place. There you go. Good lad.
That were good. That were good working with Colin. I enjoyed that, and Davies' team sound, aren't they? Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Wait, for me on a personal, I've mentioned Colin Davies a few times, and all joking apart, the man is a through and through professional. If you told him, well, put it this way, he leaves home at home and he goes to work to go to work. He doesn't get pissed the night before. He is just constantly a level playing field. I think that's why he's been so successful. He's just worked with the best. Well, obviously now he's worked with the best since working with Piggy, but it's like that level playing field. Now they're totally chalk and cheese. Colin's facts, figures, clean, accurate, but you see, you're the same, but you're that you've got the look. We're here to do a job, which is that professional boot up the arse that I needed, and then you're the what I want, and it's keeping it right. Yeah, come on, having some fun with the whole thing as well. And it's I've been very lucky to have both of you. But have you ever worked with someone like Colin? He's a very respected, very professional, respected person, but he is very level, and that's what makes him very good. But what did you make of that situation when he came in?
Yeah, I enjoy working with Colin, because like you say, he's very good and he knows what he's on about, doesn't he? He's unbelievable what he knows. And I get on really well with him. Yeah, and he's it's good. I enjoy it. Yeah,
there must have been people throughout that you've worked with. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're not going to dob you in at the Paddock's a small place that you just think, for crying out. There must be some times that you just can't. I don't want to be here. Have you had that a few times? I meant that's throughout the BSB Paddock. You know what I mean? Not just working with Chrissy. I think just people in general that you just think, what an absolute arsehole.
Well, you get them in life everywhere, don't you? So I just sort of.
He only picks the best riders to work with anyway. But it's funny. We were speaking about wherever I go, Piggy goes, and it's the first thing that when we get to new season, we get the bikes out the race truck. The very first thing is I speak to the team and I say we're gonna have to drop the ride height 15 mil, and they say 15 mil do you like the low centre of gravity? Do you like the way it turns? I go, oh no, it's so Piggy can ride the bike to scrutineering.
Shut up, man. No, that would have been brilliant. No, if you go into MSS, brand new team, 15 mil. Not 16, not 30. Like, I want to fit. That's brilliant.
Can you remember that time?
No,
There's a few. There's a few things over the years that were just sort of picked up, and then do you know? There's just like little things like pretty much every meeting that gets said, but in just like little jokes and little things. One of them was this started when I was at Cadwell Park a few years ago. It was glorious sunshine, like the perfect day for riding a motorbike, and I went out and
red up.
Yeah. And at Cadwell, you've got the split paddock, so you've got the paddock pit lane on the bottom, and then you've got the pit lane at the top as well, where the mountain is. And I came in during qualifying. Basically, you go out with an old rear tyre on, get up to speed, and then come in, put a new tyre on, and go for it. So went out, did a couple of laps, came back in, and obviously Piggy's putting the wheel in and that, gets it all sorted, and then he like looks up and says, "Right, we're ready to go," type of thing. And I looked at him and I was like, "Bloody hell, it's hard work out there, like in this heat." And he just shrugged his shoulders and looked at us and said, "Well, it's your career choice." And that's just stuck since. So whenever it's like pissing down with rain or whatever, I'll get a picture of him in the thing, and then he knows what's coming. It's your career choice.
Somebody wanted to swap back Shocker, didn't they?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
It, like minutes before, and I'm like, you must have seen my face thinking, "Oh no," and you just went, "Your career choice."
We run it all the time. Another one's every time I either hang up the phone or if I'm like leaving the garage or whatever, I'll go, "See you shortly," and Piggy always replies, "Stop calling me shortly."
Was that a Yorkshire accent you're trying to do there?
And I tell you what, speaking of jokes, it's you're guaranteed a couple of one-liners at every race meeting. So I hope you've prepared a couple of one-liners for the pod.
Here's a quick one for you, right? There's Englishmen, Irishmen, and Scotsmen on a building site. An Englishman says, "I'll bet you two I can kick this bag of cement higher than you two." No, I'm telling you. Go on then. So he kicks it, Englishman, and it goes just to height at door. Scotsman says, "It's rubbish, that." Says, I'll beat that easy." So Scotsman takes a run up, kicks it, just above first lift on scaffolding. Irishman says, "Crap. I'll blitz that." So he takes a few steps back, polishes his welly, sets off, runs, kicks this bag of cement. It was right up into the sky. And all three of them watch it go up. Never see it again. You get it? Have a think about it.
Have you got it?
Have you got it?
Nah.
Go on, have a think about it. You have a think about it. Go on to something else. Go on. You'll get next to him.
Have you got it? Have you heard that?
I've got a good. I've got.
Oh
one
no!
for you.
Have you got that? Because I'm open. I don't think. Okay, let's briefly swap the subject here, right? What on earth am I reading here? Chrissy obviously puts a lovely spider diagram out. Right? Is that Bruce Springsteen?
Bruce Springsteen.
What's all this about then?
Bruce is our favourite. So whenever we go testing, whenever we're out in the van driving together, first thing that we stick on is a bit of Bruce. And I will know pretty much every song word for word, aren't we?
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, loads of times. Nearly all his concerts. Yeah. Oh, you got to see him live, Dom. If you've never seen him live, you've got to go and see him.
Bruce.
We were at,
What on earth am I listening to?
Yeah, we were at Wales. It were at Millennium Stadium. So after his songs, or when he comes on, all crowd go Bruce to get all that. You see. So we stood there in crowd, and after he'll come on, he'll do like 3 songs, and then he'll say hello to crowd. So he stopped his 3rd song, and everybody's Bruce. So this lass looked round at me. She went, "Why are they booing him?"
Shut up, man.
Yeah, she thought we were booing him. So he did a song, and did another song, and they did it again. And she looked round, she went, "They're not booing him, are they?" I goes, "No, Captain Bruce."
It's like we used to have a footballer called Boom Song playing for Newcastle, and every time he got the ball or whatever, all the crowd used to go boom for Boom Song. But it was like a cheer. It is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely love it, man.
I've got one for you. So
Here you go.
2 prawns go to a seafood disco, and one looks at the other and goes, "Oh, I think I've pulled a muscle."
Oh, way wait. What's this podcast come to, man? Here we go, man. So here's a question. I'm trying to steer this conversation. It's normally your job to steer the conversation. Yeah?
Come that time at Armoy with Flag Marshal.
Oh my! We can't mention that, man. Nah, we're not mentioning that because he probably listens to the show. There is no way. Look, right? I'm drawing a line under this, right? If any of our listeners are desperate to hear this story, you either come and chat to Piggy in person, and you leave me alone. They are the two orders.
Colin liked it.
Colin was crying. Colin, that was just like, it was just like, bear in mind, this is I'm about to tell the story, but it was just the most tense moment about to go out, and I can't. Oh my God. Anyway, we're skipping through this conversation far too much, but we'll tell you off air, Chrissy. But if you want to find out the crack, seek this man in the paddock and he'll tell you, no problem at all. So, obviously, you've been around racing, you've had bikes and everything. Did you ever have the ambition of wanting to race yourself? Or even now?
No,
obviously, you're a track day weapon.
Well,
you know what
obviously,
I mean?
yeah.
Obviously, goes without saying.
No, I never really. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't. But I don't know.
If you know what, that's the thing. Everyone doesn't have to do the same thing, do you? Just because you like a bike doesn't mean you have to go racing. No, it's just curious.
I used to go. I always went and watched it, but I never. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't really. I suppose I should have done. But when I were 18, I got done for drinking and driving, and I lost my license. But I mean, don't do it now, kids. Don't do
it now, kids. Learn from Piggy's mistakes.
In them days, a lot of people did it, and it weren't.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I got done, and I had 15 months without a licence. So at the time, my mate, who I did spannering for at Manx, he was just starting club racing. So maybe if I hadn't lost my licence, I might
done a bit of racing.
Because I just said, that's it, I sold my bike. That year, I didn't go to any racing, apart from GP, which used to be at Silverstone.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. Maybe that year might have been the year when I'd done it. But I just sort of decided I'd selling my bike, and it's a shame because it was an old. You'll not know them, but they're old Honda 750s. You know, F2s.
All right. We'll have to Google that one. We'll have to Google that, Chrissy.
They were old air cooled, nice bike actually. I should have kept it.
Bloody hell! Well, before we move on to the quick fire question side of things, what am I reading here again? I love this. I'm learning so much about you. But what's this Mini Pete crack? What?
Oh.
Now hold on. This is hold on. We're not talking about that, are we? Because I've heard he's like a tripod. You know what I mean? You can't knock him over. He's like one of them weeble wobbles. You know. He's good in the win, that Pete. He's good in the win.
Mini Pete is. Have you got Mini Pete about? Is he in the house or
I think he's in caravan.
In the caravan now.
Well, basically, he's guarding that.
If any ladies would like to find out about Mini Pete,
Pete's lovely mother knitted him a Mini Pete, so it's like a miniature-sized version. Yeah. So Pete is Big Pete, and then there's Big Pete and Mini
Never
Pete.
Never been Big Pete in my
life. But yeah, Mini Pete used to come out at every race meet, didn't he?
Yeah. I still have him now. He's always.
Mm-hmm.
I was having
our lucky emblem.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I hope you bring him to every meet. Like, you're gonna have. There's gonna be like a test. You're gonna have to be wearing that top. People will be asking you about what happened in Armoy, and then you're gonna have quite a list.
We're always on when Zoe used to do Triple Challenge.
Yeah,
videos.
We used to do like a YouTube thing, didn't we?
Put him on his shoulder.
He used to do predictions on like a Saturday night. Mini Pete used to predict where I was going to finish in the race, and he was always pretty accurate as well.
Oh, we're good, really. At Racin Village, she used to watch those videos, and she said one day, she says, "You know that lad you mechanic fella?" I says, "Yeah." She says, "Don't he ever said to you, get that puppet out my face?" That's not a puppet.
It's Mini Pete.
I tell you what, we do the world of good for Pete when it comes to going out and on the town and that, and like with ladies. Doesn't need Tinder, doesn't need this, doesn't need that. He just comes up. I
can't even do this for myself. Never mind what we're doing.
Like we're like the best wingmen in the world, I think.
We clothe him, feed him. What?
Lead me astray.
Naturally, gotta be done.
So speaking of that bike that you just mentioned, do you have a dream bike that, like, say if you could have one for the mantelpiece or want to ride on like a Sunday afternoon, what's your dream bike?
That's a good one.
Never heard of that brand.
I've got. I think it'd have to be one of those, new those Hondas, them RCV.
Oh, what Rutter's got?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Really?
like £250,000 or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
buttons to him, man. He lives paving. That's half an afternoon for him.
No, that'd be.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would
trick
be
bit
good,
of kit,
man.
innit?
Yeah. Or an old 250 Honda,
Oh, yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
You want to see what I'm on? Obviously, I'll keep that little. We're keeping that secret for Caddy Wow, but I'll show you off air. It's a beauty, isn't it? Absolute beauty.
Yeah, mega.
Looking forward to that, and you'll get to work on it.
Yeah. Oh, they're lovely to work on.
Oh, I'm telling you, you'll be grand.
That other year when I did a bit with Steve Patrickson
Yeah.
and Cameron Horseman, I were on Moto 3 bikes. They're lovely to work on because they're just made for
Proper
racing.
race bikes for the job.
You can have your fairings, everything. You're into gearbox. It's all in no time at all. Do you know what I mean? It's they're proper, lovely to work on.
So what you're saying? You're hard done by working for Chrissy on this stock fight. You're getting work too hard. Oh, you softy, man. You softy.
Here's a question for you. So take Dom out the equation. Who's your favorite?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite TT rider?
What ever or sort of
Do ever and then do at the moment.
Nice.
Well, ever.
Well, answer it.
It's got to be Joey, hasn't it? Joey Dunlop.
Ah, yes.
I think. Yeah.
What about BSB Paddock?
And present.
What about the BSB Paddock? Present and now.
Well, if I don't. Whenever in BSB Paddock, I don't know. It's like I just like Neil McKenzie. He was sharp. But there's been some good lads, hasn't there?
And then what about current TT riders?
Current TT. Can I have two?
Yeah, go on.
It's going to be Mickey Dunlop and James Hillier.
Oh,
I think that they're.
Did you enjoy the Hillier podcast?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, good. Well, obviously you're a keen listener to the podcast. Have you had any a favourite episode so far?
This one.
You just wait till the introduction.
Well, Hillier ones they were both good.
Yeah, it was good.
I enjoyed that last one.
Christian
Iden, Christian Iden. The Coops one were good. Coops. I enjoyed that one.
So, all right, same question. What about the BSB? Current. Who's your favourite current rider?
Chrissy.
No, man. Come on, you bias, fool you. Come on.
In Superbike.
Yeah, in Superbike class, yeah.
Brooks. I think Brooks is. I mean, yeah, because he sort of proved himself at TT, didn't he? Everyone was saying, he'll not do that. He'll be rubbish. He's a crasher, he's not going to do that.
Well, there's a rumour on the rumour mill that it might be coming back.
I'd like to see him.
Yeah, it would be good, wouldn't it?
What's your opinion on McGuinness? Obviously going to the Kawasaki. Are you expecting to see him? Battling at the front.
Yeah, you'd never write McGuinness off, would you?
Nah.
The fall would write him off. I think if his fitness comes back, they're all saying he's too old and this, that, and other. But
Alex.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't write him off.
I was about to say, this is a proper pre-recording, so by then he's probably joined the team, left the team, gone to another team. Josh Brooks is back on the quattro. Anything could happen, you know what I mean? And Minnie and Pete might have grown a beard. Anything could be happening between now and then. So there we go. So, right, we're ticking on with time here, son. We're ticking on with time. So, right, it's got to be... Well, we're going to keep going with the questions. So we're going to go with, what's your best spectating moment? Your outstanding race you've ever watched?
I think it'll have been. There were a couple actually. I really enjoyed David Jeffries and Joey at Ulster.
Yes, that was a hell of a fight.
Was it 99, 2000, was it? 99. That were really good. Jeffries were on B&M and Joey were on RC45. That were really good.
Well, the whole week prior up to that was
you've been building and building.
Oh, well, David Jeffries he's not got nothing against me.
Yeah,
and Joey Dunlop, the man, the myth, the legend, just went, aye, that's what you think, young'un. It was a hell of a fight, wasn't it? Hell of a fight.
Yeah. And another time we were at Skerries and we were on Sam's Tunnel and Robert Dunlop come up inside a locker.
You're joking.
And it was just like he'd come out to edge. I thought they were just locker. And he passed him. Like, it was unbelievable. And people jumped back on banking. You could sit on banking then before they made you move back. That were special, and that were impressive. That. A locker must have made him jump. It was unbelievable. It was unreal.
Have you got any more jokes before we finish up?
Right. There's a bloke.
What happened to this welly anyway?
There's a bloke flying a plane, and it starts breaking down. It's missing and it's not running right. So he's going over at sea and he's looking around. He's panicking a bit. Thinks, and he sees an island. Thinks, right, I'll get it on there. So he swings around, crash lands on beach, sliding up beach. It's a tree right at the end, and it smashes wing, takes wing clean off. So he gets his son out at cockpit, and he's thinking, oh dear, what am I going to do now? Next thing, a gorilla comes walking out at wood. He says, "Ooh, that was close, mate, that." Yeah, what, did you see? Yeah, I saw it all. He says, tell you what, he says, if you take me off this island with you, I can fix you that. He says, well, you can't fix that. He says, of course I can. So I'll get you that wing back on and I'll saw your engine out. He says, but you've got to take me off island with you. He says, all right then. So he says, I'll go and get my tools. So off gorilla goes. Comes back, bag of tools, fixes engine, drags plane round. He says, he says, I can't get that wing back on. I can't get that to fasten on. So I'll tell you what. He says, I'll hold it on. He says, you not hold that on? Of course I will, I'm a gorilla. He says, it's on runway there. So he gets it all set up, gets on plane, gets one arm and one leg off at top of plane, and other one, and arm and leg on wing. So he's like, says, right, go on, set off. So he's up, going up runway, he's going, go on, keep going. So they start to lift off, and gorilla's there, and he's like, holding on. He's going, keep going. So they get to 1,000 feet, still there. 2,000 feet, and there's such a bang. Pilot looks around and wings off. Gorilla's gone. He thinks, oh my God. So he's fighting with plane. And he sees island. So he thinks, I'll get back on that. So he heads down to island. As he's crash landing again on island, there's gorilla laid there next to wing. He thinks, so he gets plane down. So he runs back up to gorilla. And just as he gets up to gorilla, he's coming round a little bit, and he's like covered in dust and shit. He's in the right state. He says, Jesus, mate, he says, you were with me. Oh, wait, runway. He says, we were nearly at 3,000 feet. He says, and what happened? He went, there with this fucking bag of cement.
Old would go there.
Yeah. How long I've been feeling thick for? I honestly been carrying on these questions, really thinking, what about, is it Skip the Willy? What the...
Yeah. Oh, well. Well, before we go, we usually give this opportunity for anyone to advertise like merchandise or the Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, but you're old-fashioned, aren't you?
No
social media.
Mobile number is 07847.
But no,
727777.
big thank you for coming on our podcast.
Cheers.
And you're in good company because we're doing a bit of a tour and we've got some cracking guests.
Right,
So so thanks so much, and obviously thanks again for committing yourself to another year of
pleasure.
Pleasure. And good luck with your testing, you factory fool. Yeah.
I know. I have a good time at Almeria, and look forward to catching up for some testing, like sort of March time, something like that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And, we'll have some good times.
Yeah.
And look, just keep an eye out for them bags of cement flying around the place.
Watch them cement.
I tell you what, are you flying into Alicante Airport?
Yeah.
It was closed a couple of days ago for a fire.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
I don't know where people were landing. The whole airport was closed for a fire. I don't know how big it was or anything, but yeah.
That's why I'm waiting for a punchline.
No limits. No limits had on Facebook. The airport was closed, so check that your flight's still going there.
Yeah, it will be. I don't go out 31st anyway.
All right, spot on. Good. Well,
I'll have the airport built by then, man.
Well, thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
In our makeshift studio.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? Some nice artwork.
Oh, yeah.
We've had Banksy round.
Love it, man. Love it.
Cheers, mate.
Lovely.
I'll
Thank
see you in a
you
bit.
much.
See you later.
Bye. That bloody cement joke.
Mate, honestly, you know, obviously before we did that interview, you know, when we were talking about intelligence, how long did it take me to click in? I was like, just fucking, I couldn't believe it. It took me forever to get that, but he's
one of a kind as Piglet, isn't he?
Thing is, I can see why you won't go anywhere without him.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally see that. You know, after working with him, you know, he's intoxicating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he actually forces endorphins out of you to make you smile.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You could just be like, right, Dom, your pet cat's died. People like, Barry, get you a new one. Like, oh, cheers, mate. He's just he just makes other people happy, and I think that's such a rare gift.
For me,
anyone.
You and Piggy for me have like really similar traits, and there's like
You're trying to call it I'm short and fat, like
there's like an old fashioned like rawness to you both. Like you're both like into
I'm just
I don't know, just like I don't know, like this new sort of the modern age that we live in. I feel like you and Piggy are very much like just old fashioned and just like what you like, say what you think, and you just I don't know.
I see what you mean. It's just like what if I ever say like a crossword? I think like Piggy definitely doesn't do this, but I do this, and like sometimes I mean that in a positive light. You know, it's a bit like when I say something, I'm saying it. Opinions. The truth of the matter is, opinions like arseholes. Everyone's got one, haven't they? But I like to think, well, look, why are you doing that? Because that's how some people may see it. You know, if you can, you know, just change that little thing to make that look better. Like, you know, I'm gonna jump back quickly on it. You know, the Tom, what's his name again? Yeah, that's terrible. Amos Thomas, is it? What's his name, man? Mm-hmm. You know, it's a bit like the social media aspect of it. Sorry, I can't even remember your name half the time. But it's a bit like, fair enough, right? At the end of the day, he's doing something that everyone else is doing. You know, trying to get some funding in, which is totally fair enough. But it's a bit like going on holiday and off skiing and, you know, doing like little things like that. It's a bit like if I was going to give someone £100, what they're going to spend it on. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you've got to be very careful.
I know what you mean. As long as it's going in the right thing. If you're begging for money, you then can't be, you know, buying a new jet ski. I know what you mean.
That's exactly it. And it's very much, it's like sponsors I get, it's a bit like, I actually say, I'm like, look, you know, this is what you've actually helped me with. You know, you've bought me a set of tyres, you've bought me a new shock, you've helped me do this. And, you know, communication's key, isn't it? And I just think that's a very much like how I was brought up with my family. It's a bit like, you know how hard it is to make a few quid, and you don't want to just stuff it away on holidays.
It's very easy to, you know, rub people up the wrong way. And I feel like, to me, I totally agree with you, and I've seen it loads of times before where people are setting up GoFundMe pages to basically fund the hobbies, and then like getting new vans, new cars, things, and you're thinking, hang on a second, these people have basically paid for this holiday. Like it's not right.
It's how people perceive. You know, obviously the thing is, it's an entertainment business. Like we've said that a few times in racing. This is an entertainment business, and you know, he's probably like I'm not picking on him. I don't know the lad, so I'm not picking on him. But I'm using him as an example at the moment. And the fact is, like, he's saying, I'm doing this. That's all well and good, but it's how people perceive that.
Aye.
But that's up to him if he wants to do that. He's not. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, you know. And you know, he's not going to lose any sleep over what I'm saying.
Aye.
It's just like that's how.
I tell you what, if anything,
that's how I would see the world. If I gave something like me, like yes, I enjoy a refreshment, but I'm not going out in town. I'm not going out for meals. I go to work and graft my arse off. Yes, if I pop into Aldi on the way home to get the family shop for me eggs, bread and milk, and I find a bottle of wine reduced to £1.50, I'm buying that bitch and I'm going to enjoy it, you know what I mean? But, you know, you don't have to be locked away in an ivory tower, do you? But, you know,
if anything...
I'm not spanking me money on holidays.
I was going to say, if anything, he should be grateful that we're giving him the coverage on the podcast. You know, if we're averaging in at over 1,000 downloads a day at the moment.
Chucking that in there, Chrissy. But no. But in the same breath, you know, it's
giving him some decent exposure.
It's good. It's good that, you know, at the end of the day, he's been no mug riding at Moto3. He's got a ride, brilliant. Obviously, it's news and it's bloody February, and there's no news out there. So it's we'll see how he gets on. But Hey, madness. But he's not a patch on our Piggy. No one's a patch on our Piggy. No
I tell
one.
you what, earlier in the podcast we were talking about like crack for the week. I totally forgot to mention this, but last weekend, I think it was Friday night, I think, I met a couple of my mates from school, and we went for, it was the night after we had our weigh-in, and I went out with them and had a pizza. And then I dropped a couple of my mates were going out.
I've lost all this weight for my professional status, and I'm off for a pizza.
I had a pizza on my cheat day, and a couple of my mates were going out to Newcastle, so I drove them through. And because I'd put the podcast out on Patreon, I then was putting it out to the general public at midnight, and it was like 10 o'clock or something. So I thought to myself, right, well, I'll just pop into. They were meeting at a bar called Empress, so I popped in for like 20 minutes. And so I'm stood there with my glass of water, and
you really are a cheap day, aren't you? You just walk in and not pay for anything.
And there's a couple of like rugby lads, or I didn't know if they played rugby, but they looked like rugby players, like big gym lads, stood next to us, and I'm just talking to my mates, and these lads are like doing these like stupid dances, and like they're in a group doing like these weird things, and then I kind of you take notice of like what's around you. And anyway,
two bouncers dancing. It's kind of
couple of minutes in, this kid like knocks us, and me water like spills a bit of water down my jeans, and so I looked around at him like, "What you doing, you idiot?" And like I sort of readjusted and gave him a bit more room. Right. Then he knocked us again, doing this dance, and he was purposely not being careful, so he was putting his head down and basically just walking into people. He knocked us again and spilled some water, and I'm not one for for confrontation or anything at all.
I wish I was there.
That would have been so good to
watch.
I thought to myself, if this happens again, I'm not going to splash myself. He's getting splashed as well, right? So like I was waiting for it, and he puts his head down and just walks into us again, and I did my best to kind of spill it, like not looking like I was spilling it on purpose on him. But that didn't work out, and I just hide me whole drink over this kid.
You're joking.
No, I kind of like knocked it, but like
a 1940s house. How dare you?
I kind of like theatrically, instead of knocked it on me, I kind of theatrically hid it the other way and just covered this kid, absolutely covered him. And straight away his mates just got right in my face, and they were like, "You did that on purpose." And I thought to myself, I've got two options here. I can be honest, or I can just say it was by. So I just said, I did do it on purpose, mate. He knocked us a good few times, and I was getting sick of it. And I'm stood there just chatting to me mates. And
Chrissy Rouse, the teacher badass, ladies and gentlemen.
And they're all shouting, "It's not on!" And then this kid was like getting really, really annoyed at us. So I thought, to be honest, I did thought I was going to end up getting
a good shoe in you.
And it just went on and on. They were like all shouting like, "You did that on purpose!" And I was going, "I know, I did it,
gentlemen. I've already told you.
Yeah, I did it on purpose, but I'm sorry if he kept splashing me, so I splashed him back." And it just went on and on and on.
This is the most hardest childish story I've ever heard in my life. Right, carry on.
So I think I'm lucky to still have my nose intact. I think after that,
I'm good. I would have been the good-looking one on the show for a change.
And then this weekend, I'm actually the guest of honour for the first time ever. I'm going to be presenting the trophies at the Northeast Motorcycle Racing Club. So it's at a hotel next to the
Britannia
airport,
Hotel.
Britannia Airport, and Britannia, and
we're out. That's an inside joke, by the way. Total inside joke.
I'm gonna be handing out the trophies there, so I'm very much looking forward to that.
Splashing people.
You've done. I don't know. Anyone there watches if you stand
like
next to
the
us.
Pope. Keep going, my child. A bit of holy water, off you go.
You've been the guest of honour before, haven't you? So you'll have to give us some tips.
No, I'll tell you what was weird. The last time I did it, and the time before that, right? James Cowton presented me my award for winning the championship, and then the following year, I presented him. And that was probably one of my favourite memories. Just James looking at me going, "Oh, the fuck!" I'm like, "You're damn right, Bobby. Get yourself up, young'un." But hey, just smile, carry a super soaker. Splash as many people as you want and have a good time doing it, son. Have a good time doing it.
Looking forward to that. What about yourself? Doing much this weekend?
I've got a pool game.
Pool game, nice.
No, a charity pool game, but I'm not playing pool. I've just been invited down, just to cheer me mate along. So no, I'm just looking forward to that. And obviously, but I'm working Saturday, then got the pool game, and then I'm working Sunday as well, and then pretty much back to work from all the way up to April.
Oh, mint, good. Plenty graft booked in.
God, aye. And then obviously, like when the racing starts, it's like you got to start taking the Fridays off to go test days, and so, well, hopefully,
Aye.
Hopefully, beggars can't be choosers, Chrissy. Beggars can't be choosers. But hey, from here and now, but obviously thank you very much to our sponsors, the Carol Nash MCN London Bike Show. Please get some tickets online.
I look forward to seeing a few of you down there. You're
I'm
going to be there.
T-bone the shit out of them, lads.
You're going to be there. Like, boom. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'll come down. I'll either be there Friday night and then stay Saturday, or I'll
bring them
Saturday.
Pink shorts. I'll make you choke on them. I swear me life. You're not embarrassed me with them.
And stay Saturday night. But either way, we'll maybe sort of like we'll go out for food or something Saturday night, depending what I don't know what you're doing. But we'll sort something out.
I'll be in the bins buying KFC, man.
just watch if you stood next to us in the bar, mind. You don't get out. Make sure you don't knock into us, or you'll be getting soaked as well.
Mate, I can. You must struggle to knock out a wank. Never mind anyone else. It's serious. Good stuff.
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
I bet you are. You good-looking son of a gun. Anyway, right. Let's close it up.
Big thanks to our sponsor, like you've said. Obviously, a massive thanks to our patrons. Really, really appreciate the support, and we're looking forward to bringing you our new studio sometime really soon.
Yeah.
Down at the Carol Nash next weekend. So if you
get some guests lined up, so we'll get some more entertainment.
Make sure you get your tickets booked. Save a £5 by booking before the 12th of February.
Indeed.
So if you are going to come, get online and get your early bird tickets booked. And other than that, we'll have another episode. We'll probably record it down there next week.
As well, yeah. So we'll just chuck the gear in and go from there.
I'll bring the equipment down. So all the best. Have a good week and catch up soon.
Happy days.
Cheers, mate.
See you in a bit.